Good afternoon. Welcome to Your Weather Today. I'm meteorologist Dooley Godot. Going to take you through this afternoon's weather forecast as well as the forecast for the rest of this upcoming work week. We'll talk a little bit about some changes to the GFS that we're tracking. I know everybody's been advertising the potential for a severe winter storm with a lot of snow, particularly for the East Coast and the Northeast. That storm is trying, the ingredients are kind of there for a big storm, but there is blocking to the north of the Northeast. There's Northeast blocking, but it's only blocking in one direction. So it's forcing the storms to go off the East Coast. If we look at our GFS that is in motion right now, as you can see, that storm that's coming down across from the northern Canada is see, these things are circulating around the polar vortex, and this piece of energy that we'll see come around here, let's watch for this piece of energy. This piece of energy is coming up the Pacific Northwest. It's going to come across, you see it drops down across Minnesota, so that's going to bring some snow to Minnesota, but it's going to work its way offshore and kind of regenerate again offshore, but it's doing it well offshore. And then this other piece of energy that's coming up, you see how this one is kind of wrap around a little bit. It's going to try to bring some snow to Massachusetts and Maine, maybe. It's a little bit too far out to sea, and that's the big problem that I'm seeing with these storms. This is going to brush the East Coast with a little bit of snow, but they've gone too far out to sea. They're not in the right place. That blocking is not in the right place, so it's not quite the kind of blocking that we want to see that causes storms to dig down into the southeast and then right up the East Coast. Usually that block makes it stay right along the East Coast, but as we can see here, it's kind of not really giving us what we want. So it's kind of moving offshore. Here's another area of low pressure that's going to bring, so we're going to have a 1-2 punch for snow here in the upper Midwest for Wisconsin and Minnesota. Going to have 2 snow events back to back, probably a day or two apart. See, as we can see, that system, it dives down into the south and then it rides up and heads out to sea. This one actually dives all the way down through Florida and then it picks up again and goes offshore. Kind of looks like it's flinging toward the northwest, but it's gonna miss. It's gonna ride too high and it's gonna hit Nova Scotia. So we think that's gonna help. That's gonna play out. It's gonna hit Nova Scotia with some heavy snow, but as we can see, it's not really doing much. Let's speed up this so we can really see how that's moving. We're going to speed up the map. See how that dives down across Minnesota out of central Canada, goes offshore, rides up the East Coast. And we're going to look at some other maps that's going to verify this, is what we're seeing. So let's look at some other maps that's going to verify what we're seeing here. We are going to go to our European model here. And our European is going to, you see that big trough on the East Coast here. You see this huge trough. This is that cold air that's diving down. You see where I live here in Minnesota. We're right on the edge of that little bit warmer weather. We're seeing temperatures in the single digits today. Tomorrow we're going to be 34. That is 5 today to 34 tomorrow. As we get on this side of the high, where it's a little bit warmer, but this kind of goes back and forth as little pieces of energy comes down out of Canada. So that jet stream that's right here, the jet stream is right about here. So it's been driving those weather systems that come on shore. They come on shore in the Pacific Northwest. This ridge is really high out here in the west. This ridge, this is a 1050 ridge. It's really a strong ridge of high pressure, and it's been driving everything high into Canada. And as weather systems come onshore, they don't, instead of going south and across Southern California, across the west, they ride up and ride over the top of the ridge and down again They slide down through Minnesota, and then sometimes this cold air is a little bit further out here, and it causes those weather systems to dive down more this way along the leeward side of the Rockies, across the high plains of Colorado and Wyoming and Montana, and they dive down and they head straight to the southeast. This is one of the reasons why we've been seeing those tornado outbreaks and severe thunderstorms across the southeast. If you look at our isobars here, you see this persistent southwest flow down around the southwest, the southeast here in Texas and Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. You see that it has been the focus for a lot of thunderstorms, tornadoes, and severe weather outbreaks. Has been the last week or two. We've seen periodic rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Now those storms are down in Texas, but it's a lot less energy behind it, as there's not a really, other than a weak frontal boundary, there's not a whole lot to focus those thunderstorms to really get. There's not a lot of twisting in the atmosphere to get those mesoscales to develop in those supercell thunderstorms. It's general pulse pop-up variety afternoon heat thunderstorms that have been developing and rain themselves out, and it's gone. There's nothing really too much to worry about there. You may get brief heavy rain, some small hail, and a gust of wind here and there, but that's about all we're going to see across South Florida as one of those, as that frontal boundary is draped across this sunshine state right now. So, and that's depicted right here. You see that frontal boundary. You see that difference in the temperature. That front is laying right about here, and those thunderstorms are training across South Florida. But as we see here, we're going to run this map so you can see that pattern in motion. You see how it has these little dips here, these little dips, these bubbles that come around. There's another one. And we have, and this is for the next 240 hours. This is going to be good until the 20th. So you see those weather systems, these low pressure systems. There's another one there. You see that how they just dive around the base of they drive around the base of the polar vortex. Those little pieces of energy that is as they rotate around. To really be honest, if you look at a big view of these maps, you will see that these weather systems are rotating around. These are actually going around the polar vortex and coming back around again. So you're seeing these same weather systems rotate around the main core of the polar vortex. They're kind of little pieces of energy that kind of get caught up in the flow and get pulled off and they get flung around. Some of them get flung out to the Atlantic, and some just get caught back up in the flow and rotate back around again. And it's kind of funny to watch this. If you look at it on the big map, it's really a crazy thing. It's like, it makes you dizzy just watching. It's like, okay, these storms should be puking all over the place. The way they're just rotating around. It's like being on a merry-go-round of storms. It's really interesting. But they're not very powerful storms because they're not really digging too far south. We are going to manually control this so that we can see exactly what's happening here. Because this is the area that we want to focus on. We really want to focus on what's going on here, how this ridge is interacting with the polar vortex, and how those little weather systems are just coming around. There's a little bit of high pressure across Minnesota there. This is for the 20th. So we're going to go back. And we're going to go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning and start this over. And we're going to manually, there's another little dip here. You see another dip, a ridge here. Then another trough here. It's troughing here. That's indicating that cold air driving in. And then how it gets deeper. And this is going to be for the 13th. This is Thursday's forecast. See how deep, how this kind of is deeper. That trough dips a little bit deeper. It's not going to really affect us too much in Minnesota as far as the temperature is concerned. It's going to stay, we're going to be in the 30s. After today's single digits, we're going to be in the 30s for the rest of the week. until the weekend, I think. Then we'll maybe pull back into the 20s or high teens or something as a little weather system tries to come through with a little snow. So we're going to watch this. Let's go back. See how this pops up, this low little ridge that dip, that driving southeast, and then it generates an area of low pressure because that ridging, that drive southward creates a spin. As it comes around the base, it creates a spin in the atmosphere. And that's what that little low is. See that? And then that's low. That flow is really, really fast. Those jet streams, that jet stream is really fast. And it's wide open. There's no, the NAO is in a neutral phase right now. So it's neither positive nor negative. It's neutral because of if you look at this white up here, this is an area of high pressure, a larger area of high pressure that's creating a block up in the north over Canada. It's making a blocking, it's a blocking ridge, a continental blocking high over Canada. This is usually out over the Atlantic, the north central Atlantic, and it creates a block. It forces those storms to stay closer to the mainland U.S. and drive north into Newfoundland and Nova Scotia instead of out to sea. See where this weather system is? It's way out to sea there instead of here. This is where we want to see it. We want to see this storm right here for a nor'easter. That's, if you want to see snow in the northeast, that's what you want. You don't want it to be way out out in the Atlantic. You know, it's not doing anything out there. Just making big waves. That's what it's doing. So that's what we see there. And this is good for the 14th. This is Friday's forecast. And you can see, let's move a little forward. There's another one that's developing here. Another area of low pressure. It's going to spin up as it comes around that base. Again, those dynamics create that spin in the atmosphere because it wants to curve around as it rounds the bottom of the trough, of that main jet stream trough. And then it's going to move on, and then it's going to move offshore again. Another one. See, this would be the ingredients for a nor'easter, but they're going too far out. They're getting ejected out to the ocean. It's like, Lord, come on now, let's get that nor'easter. It's like, it's sad that I'm sitting here hoping for a nor'easter. It gives us something to talk about, something to get excited about, and the folks in the Northeast can get some good snow too, you know, other than what they've been having. It's mostly lake effect snow off of the lakes here. That's been the main focus. So as we keep the map moving, and we're going to look for another one. Here's another low pressure system. Another one. There's two more that's going to round the base. They're going to round the base and again get ejected out to the Atlantic. Because that trough is way out. See how that trough goes out? It flattens out. It's flat across the Atlantic. So as the weather systems come around, they're getting pushed out to sea. They're getting sheared. They're being sheared apart. So this goes up to the 20th. This is what the 20th looks like. This is next Thursday, the 20th. And as you can see, this is called a progressive pattern. You see that progressive is east, west to the east. It's not going like this. It's not locked up or nothing like that. Everything's coming. There's another low pressure system. This is probably going to be here for the 23rd from our area here where I live in Minnesota. As you can see, it is going to probably ride over the top of the ridge, dive down, and come down here. It may dive down further south and come out here. I know some of these storms in the last model run, but the new model run hasn't been fully completed yet, so I can't see the 384-hour, the 2-week for the GFS is only out to 102 hours right now. It's not done processing, so I can't show you the full GFS. They do it about 3 times a day or 3 or 4 times a day. These run, and right now they are still getting it, preparing it. So we're not going to see. we're going to show what we have now for the year for the GFS. Or the G. Oh, there it is. Now we got it. That's what I want to see. There we go. It's done now. All right, we got the GFS for running for us right now. Let's speed it up so we can really see that pattern. Now you see how that was dived down. There's one. Let's go back. Let's stop. Let's go back. Go back. Back. Come on back. Let's see that bad boy. Look at that. Beautiful. That is gorgeous. I love that. See how that low pressure center, this one right here, coming out of Canada. It's diving across that ridge. Got that ridge out west. This high ridge. This ridge goes almost all the way up to the northwest territories of Canada. So these low pressure centers are really diving over the top of that ridge. They are really going for the gusto here. But here we go. You see it? See it come across? See, look at that snow coming into Minnesota. And this is for the forecast. This is valid for the 14th. So, this is Friday, potentially. This probably won't bring snow until... This could change, but this is was not in the forecast before. This is not what we had for earlier. We were looking for dry weather for most of the week. But we are going to get this snow system. Let's watch it as it comes down. Here it comes out of Canada, dive across Minnesota. You see this gets pretty dark. So especially across, this indicates heavier snow across southwest Minnesota, northern Iowa, central Iowa, Des Moines, Sioux Falls, Minneapolis, St. Paul, St. Cloud. Is going to get in on that snow as it comes down. This is going to dive southeast. Here it comes. This is one of those storms that will stay west of the Twin Cities, which will keep us. Somebody's going to get dry slided, which is right here. So this is the dry slide. Oh no, actually the dry slide's right here. So as it dives down across out of Minnesota, it's going to head on south. Here it is, hitting Illinois, in Missouri, getting some of that snow now. It's going to continue further. It's actually diving. That trough is really big trough. And you see we have a really tight storm here. This is going to be for Nova Scotia. This is going to be a big snowstorm for northern Canada. But you can see it completely misses the United States because it was all the way out to sea. That's the problem. They keep getting pushed out to sea and wrapped around. They get caught back, and this is going to rotate back up into the polar vortex. It's been really crazy. So let's go back. I think I accidentally moved the map here, so we don't want to. Oh yeah, I went all the way out to the 15th. Good Lord. Let's start back at the beginning. Okay, now let's go. This is where we are currently. That same weather system's coming on shore of the Pacific Northwest. Here's our thunderstorms across Florida from that storm. This is the same system that produced the tornadoes across Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana yesterday. So that is moved out. So let's move on way. There is some Alberta Clipper here. This is a lot of lake effect snow. You can see the lake effect snow going on right here. You see the Great Lakes. You see the lake effect snow in the northeast. And again, parts of Michigan and Wisconsin is getting that lake effect snow. And then here's our weather system finally coming onshore. Hear that bad boy coming right now. There it is. Look at that. It's making its way. It's going to turn, dive, Minnesota. Boom. It dive bombed Minnesota. It's going to hit us hard. I don't like this. I don't care for the snow in the winter here. I wouldn't mind seeing it in the mountains out west or something like that. But I don't want to have to drive to work with this. And my wife's a school teacher, and if they call our school, I have to take the bus. So that's not cool. I'm not a fan of catching the bus in the winter. I can do it every day in the summer, but not in the winter. Nope. So there it is. We get dive bombed by this storm. Not going to be too heavy. You know, even though it looks intense, it's going to... it's gonna move so quick. Even if it is kind of heavy, it's not gonna be more than 2 or 3 inches of snow. I don't think it's gonna amount that much because it's gonna. Oh, what's going on here? It's gonna race through, and you see it dive to the southeast. Really cool. As we analyze these maps, and it's gonna dive again. Look at that go offshore. Look at that. Look at all those thunderstorms down here. Good Lord. I mean, seriously, you kidding me, right? It gets its act together offshore. But I guess we can take that because it's not, at least it won't be tornadoes again or, severe weather. And there it is, getting pushed out to sea. Boom, there it goes. And we watch it, and you see it. And there's another system right there. I didn't even see this one where it came up. It developed right along the base. See, that base of that trough makes those... spins up those storms as it goes around the base of that trough. And then that southwesterly, it gets caught in that southwesterly flow. And there it is. This is going to be a potential snowstorm for the Northeast. And this is that storm we've been advertising for the for about the 20th. It's about a day early in this model run. It was first showing for the 21st, so it's actually 2 days earlier now. But there it is. There's that potential nor'easter for the Northeast, and you see it come up. It's a little bit far offshore of the low, but it has a pretty good reach. It looks like the GFS is giving this system a really good reacher. It's giving. I'm gonna be nice here because I got a joke, but I'm okay. Let's behave. Let's behave. All right. So it's got a good reach at the snow back onto shore here, and you can see Nantucket and Boston and Providence could get some good snow all the way down Long Island and New York City into Jersey. We can see snow from this all the way to DC a little bit, but it looks like the bulk is going to fall around the Boston area. So, which is, the prime target for nor'easters is Boston in Massachusetts, Amherst. And you can see it as it drives up into Maine. It's going to drive that heavy snow up into Maine. This may or may not be this deep when it comes to fruition. Remember, this storm doesn't even exist yet. That's the thing. It doesn't even exist. But the models, it's predicting that it's going to form, and this is where it's going to go. So there it goes, right off the shore. We don't have that blocking, so these things are moving pretty quick. If it was a traditional nor'easter, it would be there. It would take about 2 days for this storm to pass through, and they'd have like 30 inches or plus inches of snow. It would be a real nightmare. At least as far as travel is concerned. Now you see this next weather system is coming down more across the central part of the nation as it's going to do again. Like here it is forming. The low is actually further north this time, forming around Lake Michigan. And you see it moving off, and it's going to be an inland. And here we go. The second punch of snow for the Northeast. Okay, we are going to. Let's get us to let's get it here. There we go. Very nice. There. You really see it when you run it like this. It's like, you really see it. You saw that nor'easter come around. There it is. You're going to see it go off to the north. Here's the next one. It's going to form up here. There's the front. There's that severe weather that we're going to see across the southeast. And this is going to be for the 20th. Is going to see that severe weather again. We're gonna let's go back just a little bit here to this run here. You see this here? This indicates really severe thunderstorms, big storms again across the southeast. And this time we may actually get some snow again in Kentucky and West Virginia, and we'll get it in Ohio, and I see it in southern Indiana. We can see some snow from this system. And then as it wraps around up in the northeast and moves off to the northeast. There we go. There it is. It's going to bring thunderstorms. This here, you see this? Let's stop here. Oops. We don't want to see the soundings. That's not working today anyway. So let's bring it up here. Where is that yellow? We saw that yellow. Anyway, it looked like it was. Yeah, there we go. There it is. We keep hitting that button. I keep bringing the sign in. Hey, it ain't working now. Check that out. It's my struggle video here. So we see. Come on, guy. Let's get it going there. There we go. We want to see that northeast. We want to see that beautiful northeast. Give me that beautiful northeast. You see those yellows right there, right near just north of Maine, indicates that thunderstorms is going to be. No, that is not thunderstorms. That is snow. That color is really, really heavy snow. That's what that is. It's not this here. It's not thunderstorms. That indicates really, really heavy snow. So, or heavy rain, but heavy snow definitely across Maine here, and here's Nova Scotia. So we're gonna see that, and we're gonna run this all the way out to the end. And this is the end of our model run. This is the 26th, goes all the way out to the 26th. So it's kind of like a 2-week run, and you can see the jet stream pattern flattens out. It kind of flattens out, and then the southern jet stream kind of takes over, and we'll see this weather system makes its way across. That will probably provide more severe weather down here again. This is the winter of severe weather. This is kind of like what you see in Texas and Oklahoma in March or February. This is what we're getting here. So maybe as we move to March and April, that shift, that focus of that will be here instead of here. We don't want it here. It's really pretty crazy, and then more storms out to sea. So that's what the GFS and the European models is saying. The GFS can go out 2 weeks, where the European model is more of 5 to 7 days is probably where it maxes out at. So let's look at some of our forecasts that the National Weather Service puts out, and this is going to be, we are going to run with the 14-day temperature forecast here, and this is to projected temperatures. This white indicates that it's equal chances that it could be above normal or below normal. This is above normal, and this is the chance. The darker the color, the higher the chance of being below normal temperature is. So you can see it's going to be below. I live in Minnesota. Our typical low temperature is about 22 degrees. When we're below 22, that's below normal. So that is verifying this. So today we're 5 degrees. So that's a 15, 16, 17 degrees below that our average for right now. So that's no surprise, and that's how we're going to be. But however, the next 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the Saturday, possibly Sunday, it's going to be in the 30s, which is above normal. But this is your average mean. Just because you're going to have a few days above normal, we're going to have more days below normal than we are going to have above normal. So this is why our average is going to continue below normal. And it's above normal out west and down in southern tip of Florida. This is where all the warm air is. This is that ridge. This is how there's evidence of that big ridge that's driving all the way up in Canada, that's making all the storms go up here, come down here, and go off the East Coast. That's the pattern that we've been in for the last couple of weeks. The last pattern we had was in December, when we had the tornado outbreak across Kentucky and Tennessee, and then we had a week later we had the tornado outbreak here in Minnesota and Iowa and Wisconsin. We had a similar setup where it was a derecho potential in the winter. How does a derecho occur in December? That just blows my mind. A derecho in December. Go figure. But anyway, there was a tornado in Iowa that traveled 14 miles. Wait, it traveled yeah, 14 miles in, um, you know, this tornado traveled 25 miles in 14 minutes. This tornado was moving forward at 103 miles. Anyway, there was a tornado in Iowa that had I can't remember the exact parameters of the speed. I do remember that this tornado traveled forward at 103 miles per hour. So if you were on the highway driving 65, this tornado was gonna catch you in no time. It was going almost twice the speed limit. It's like this is a super tornado. It wasn't a very big tornado, but it was hauling in December. It was the first tornadoes ever reported in December in Minnesota, in Rochester. It was a crazy day. That was a wild winter day. I remember that day, and everything was just crazy. So that is what so we are going to take a look at what the precipitation is for the next 14 days. And you can see across the middle part of the country and the southeast and the west, the southeast up the east coast, with the exception being the Ohio Valley. Not a whole lot going on. Equal chances there. But I'm willing to bet they're going to be above normal too, for the most part. But here you see at least a 30% chance of being above normal across the central plains, the northern plains, down Texas and the southeast. Dry again out west for the most part, even though they've had some occasions of heavy rain, even all the way down to LA. But it doesn't happen too many times in winter. And they had one a couple weeks ago where there was some heavy rain. But you see that dry weather is a little bit out to the further. It should be out further. I think should be more out to here. But we've been seeing those weather systems drive over the top of that ridge and dive down into the central and around the bottom of that polar vortex energy. It's not the main polar vortex, but they are lobes of the polar vortex that kind of drop down because that jet stream in the upper levels of the atmosphere is kind of slow. So it's kind of like a water balloon. When you put water in it, it gets heavier and drags down. That's what happens with the polar vortex. Because if it was fast, if those winds in the jet stream in the Arctic Circle was going around really, really fast, then it would stay bottled up in the Arctic. It wouldn't be dropping down. When it slows down, which is Earth and La Nina, when it drops down, it makes those little blobs because it's the speed of those winds aloft are not able to keep it bottled up. So that heavy cold air just wants to drop south and becomes a modified Arctic air mass because it gets modified by the sun angles in the more southern latitudes. So it doesn't come down. It doesn't feel quite as cold down in the southern states as it would here, where there's weaker sun angles, or in Canada, where the sun angles are even weaker. In some parts of Canada, there's no sun at all, so it's no real effect of the sun on that cold Arctic air. So that's kind of what happens with that, and why we keep seeing these Arctic air masses dive down into the continental U.S. and sometimes dive all the way as far south as the Gulf Coast. So that's why we keep seeing that. So we can get those jet stream winds to speed up and go at a quick pace, keep that cold air bottled up into northern Canada and the North Pole where it should be. Okay, so that is what we have for the forecast. And I want to thank you for watching this video. If you do come across this video, please like it, share, and subscribe to the channel. I am new to this YouTube thing, so it's kind of sloppy till I figure out, or at least have somebody teach me how to do editing. If you know how to do editing and you want to help a brother out, say you can give the Help a Brother Out special and help me, teach me how to do the editing so I can make fancy videos with nice intros and outros and graphics. I don't know how to do any of that kind of stuff. I'm just clicking on maps on the internet and just going with it. Struggle stream until we figure this out. So, alright, thank you for watching the video, Have a good day and have a good week. I will be back Thursday night with another video to get ready for the weekend forecast. So thank you for tuning in to Your Weather Today with Dooley Godot.